Hello and welcome back to this channel. I am your host Edikanobut and this is Isaac News. As you all know on Isaac News, our job here is to bring you up to speed with amazing things happening in Nigeria and to help you have a positive perspective as to the things going on in the country. So today on Isaac News, we want to bring you information, and statistics and certain figures to show you the reason why we are so sure that Nigeria is on track to becoming a global manufacturing hub by the year 2025. I'm one of those who is against every move and against every movement, against every school of thought that permits people to talk down their country, especially Nigerians talking down Nigeria. The major reason why we talk the way we do is largely hinged on ignorance. We are largely ignorant as to how things run and to how things work. And minus that, we are heavily ignorant as to the milestones, achievements we've attained as a country. First, over 1,000, over 1,000 Chinese companies have built factories worth billions of naira across Nigeria, producing almost all consumer items. Over 1,000 Chinese factories have come to set base. They have come to set base, set up shops, set up operational centers in Nigeria. Why would 1,000 Chinese people leave and come to Nigeria? Why didn't they go to Ghana or Ivory Coast or Togo or Benin Republic or Cameroon? Why Nigeria? Is why you have to be coming to this channel so you will know why. I can't state why in just one video. But over 1,000 Chinese companies have come to Nigeria, and a major reason why they have done this is cheap labor. Cheap labor is powerful. Cheap labor is the reason why India has grown the way they have grown. India has a population of over 1 billion. So with that kind of population, there's definitely going to be high unemployment, meaning that the average person will be willing to take little or nothing to work or to do a job. So there are a lot of unskilled labor. So the world poured into India as a location for cheap, unskilled or unqualified labor. As the Indian economy began to grow, so did the number of skilled labor grew, and even the unskilled labor, they began to ask for bigger wages. So the world has to look elsewhere for cheap labor. And we happen to be the most populous black nation on earth, which right now is not in a very stable economic situation. So, but we're improving. Oh, we have improved a lot. So we have a lot of cheap labor in Nigeria. So these people are moving down. So what will cause them? Let's presume they want to make big pen. They want to make this biro in China. Let's presume it's going to cost them. Let's use dollar rates. It's going to cost $1 to make this pen in USA. It would cost maybe $1 at the global selling price. Now the Chinese yuan is less than the dollar. So if it's going to cost $1, it may cost maybe two yuan or 3 yuan. But this pen is about 100 naira in Nigeria. That's it. Now this is selling price. So selling price is 100 naira. Cost price, I don't know. I don't work in the company that produce pen. But you know that cost price is lower than selling price. What are the Chinese doing? They are coming down to Nigeria because it is cheaper to make this thing in Nigeria and sell it at the global price of $1. $1 is what? About 725 naira. But it is being made, let's say the cost price is 60 naira, sold at 100 naira. Globally, it is worth 725 naira. So what the Chinese are doing, they are coming down to Nigeria to make a global product at a cheaper rate, but sell it at the global rate and benefit maximally from it. This thing I've said now applies to every other country seeking to come and build a production base in Nigeria. Production base. Next, America's largest consulate is being built in Nigeria, in Lagos State. What's a consulate? I've made a video about this before. A consulate is what is it's best understood as an embassy, but not an embassy. Okay, it is somewhat like an embassy. It is an extension of a country in another country. It is where the United States delegates will stay. It is where their delegates will work. It is where their some of their citizens will work. It's like an extension of America or another country in another sovereign nation. The largest consulate ever built in the world, in English, the largest extension of another country ever built anywhere in the world is currently being built in Nigeria. And I've said on this channel the reason why America is doing this, in my opinion, is because China is getting a huge grip in the Nigerian economy, and America don't want to lose out. So they are also investing heavily in the country, so they too can have a huge grip on the economy. Next, Chinese investors are building a plant for mining lithium in Kaduna State. Elon Musk came to Nigeria, I would interest you to know. And on arrival, sorry, he didn't come to Nigeria, pardon me. He intended to build lithium. Lithium is the major component for building electric car batteries. So he approached the Nigerian government and wanted to set up and wanted to mine lithium for producing car batteries in Nigeria. But the Nigerian government declined. Why? Because he wanted to do something that is not global best practices. Now, in order for a country to benefit maximally from mining, whoever is coming to mine should set up the processing factory in that same nation. So Nigeria told Elon Musk, if you want to mine for lithium for electrical batteries, set up electrical assembly plants in Nigeria. Once you can do that, should in case you violate certain mining principles, and we decide to sue you, or we decide to make a job hard for you because of your factory in Nigeria, it will compel you to do this mining according to global best practices. And this is a better way to invest in a country. Because if you go to countries like Angola where they are mining, the mining is done in a way that it is more destructive to the economy in the long run than it is being productive. So they are suffering for it. Then Elon Musk and Nigeria, they did not agree, so he left. He no longer decided to go on with the mining in Nigeria. What happens? The Chinese came into the same country and agreed to set up assembly plants in Nigeria and mine. So the Chinese have been given license to build a plant for mining lithium and also to assemble electric cars in Nigeria. So it's going to be a long value chain. So from the mining factories, it would then move to the assembly plant where Nigerians can see how lithium is being converted into electric car batteries and how electric cars are being assembled, and one day they will be produced by those same companies in Nigeria. Why? Cheap labor, cheap cost of production. So you save more money producing a globally accepted product, and you make higher profit by selling it at a globally accepted price. That's that. Indian investors next are set to complete Nigeria's first steel plant and one of the few steel plants in the continent. There are few steel plants in the continent. Many of the plants we have, they just mine iron and they work on iron ore. Now, there are three major countries who carry trade out with Nigeria. First, China. Second, India. Third, the United States of America. So India is Nigeria's second largest investor. So in terms of bilateral trade, that is trade between two countries. India is our second largest trade investor in Nigeria. And recently, the Indian government came and approached Nigeria and said, please make conditions more favorable so that we can benefit from this our long history of carrying out trade between two of us. And the Nigerian government will see how to make this more favorable for them to increase trade. And beyond that, they have also decided to come and set up a factory in Nigeria. Why? I've said it before. Lower cost of production, cheap labor. The amount of money they will pay Indians in India doing the same job, they will spend a lower amount of money paying Nigerians. Not that they'll pay us badly. They will pay us in a good way, but it will still be cheaper for them because the Indian currency has more value than the Nigerian currency. Next, the Portuguese investors are funding the high-speed rail link from Nigeria into Niger Republic. People are complaining about this project. Why is Nigeria building rail up to Niger? Why is how do we have rail in Nigeria? How can we be giving Niger security vehicles and giving them military assistance? What of security in Nigeria? When you speak like that, it shows that you're ignorant about certain things. The plan to make Nigeria a rail dependent economy was not initiated by President Muhammadu Buhari. It is something that was on the drawing board for over 40 years. All this president did was to begin to implement and to materialize this dream that was set up over 40 years ago. So in the day Nigeria, people sat down together and said, how can we make Nigeria to be an African giant and to make the rest of Africa so dependent on Nigeria? So this council agreed that a major way this would happen is by building rail, not just in Nigeria, but building rail into the neighboring African countries. So we share border in the northern hemisphere of the country, we share borders with Niger. So if we build rail into Niger, it's going to encourage more trade between these two countries. Because via rail, they can export whatever we need to the country, and we can import whatever we need into their country. It will be a cheaper option. So they will seek to do more trade with us because it will be cheaper for them because of the rail that we built into their own nation. is going to strengthen bilateral relationships between these two nations. It's not just Niger we are building rail into. We are building rails into some other neighboring African countries around us. Remember, we built a bridge into Cameroon, built by Nigeria, but we built it deep into Cameroon in order to encourage more trade between these two nations. By doing this, it's going to increase respect for us, and it's going to make these economies more and more dependent on us in a way that's not harmful. Next, an Indian investor has built the biggest cassava plant in the country in Nigeria. Do Indians grow cassava? Yes. Do they process it? Yes. Why did he come here? Because he has found out that we have a huge demand for cassava, for gari and cassava products, and we have an untapped manufacturing industry. So they ran down here. Elon Musk, we meet again, has launched one of its first continental projects in Nigeria. The first time Elon Musk will be doing something of this magnitude outside Europe and America is in Nigeria. He didn't launch it in South Africa. He didn't launch it in Egypt. He didn't launch it in Ethiopia. No, he didn't launch it in Angola. He came to Nigeria. Why? There's something he's seen in Nigeria that we are not seeing. So it made him to first come to Nigeria to set up Starlink. And already, a lot of Nigerians have patronized Starlink across the nation. Next, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and some other high-tech firms have launched mega projects in Nigeria. Amazon has come to Nigeria. Facebook has come to Nigeria. More and more people are coming to Nigeria. Why? There's something they are seeing that we are not seeing. South Korea has grown business with Nigeria to over $1 billion. When South Korea and Nigeria trade hit $1 billion, they had to send delegations to Nigeria and say, see, our trade has reached $1 billion. That is a sign that we really want to do business with you guys. Can you see how to make trade more favorable between two of us? Why would they go out of their way to want to trade with us? There is something they are benefiting, and there's something they are seeing that we are not seeing in this nation. Nigeria and the German firm Siemens have a current, I just made a video yesterday about it, memorandum of understanding. They are trying to carry out a power revolution in Nigeria. There's electricity, and they have been doing an amazing work in trying to increase electricity generation, electricity transmission, and power distribution across the country with installation of mega power transformers and even sometimes changing of the power lines in certain areas in the country. The Spanish companies have just recently signed agreements to develop Nigeria's gas sector. Nigeria has over 200 trillion cubic feet of proven gas reserve. What that means is the gas reserves that we have discovered. Because what I'm saying is that just recently, we have discovered oil in Nasarawa state. That's a northern state. So oil in Nasarawa state means that in every oil well there is gas. Okay, not every oil well has the same volume of gas reserves in it, but every oil well has gas and certain other things. So now, this report I'm giving right now was issued out sometime last quarter of 2022. So it doesn't even bring into account the oil well still being discovered. So right now, our proven cubic feet of gas is over 200 trillion. That is what, now monetarily, those 200 trillion cubic feet of gas is worth over $800 trillion. Did you hear that? 800 trillion US dollar. Is why, as I speak to you, Nigeria is doing a lot to improve her gas sector. If you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, go and research, go and make findings. We are doing a lot in the gas sector. In Nigeria, okay, check out my videos on the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline, or just check any video on the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline, or the Nigeria-Algeria gas pipeline, or the Abuja-Kano Kaduna gas pipeline project. That is AKK gas pipeline project. Already, like I said, we are already in talks with Spanish companies to come and develop our gas sector. My God, a lot is on the drawing board. Like I said, anything I'm saying in this video is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. I say this with all sincerity. It's but a fraction of the things that are currently being done in order to position this country to become a global hub. We are going to attain international relevance at a speed and level that is unprecedented. This will happen because of the things that are being put in place by this present administration to ensure that even in their absence, we are going to experience a steady rise to success. There's a lot going on, and this is nothing. Just keep checking out the videos in this channel. Okay, it's going to help you understand. I haven't even touched on the agricultural sector. I haven't touched properly on our manufacturing sector. We haven't even scratched our ICT sector. We have not even touched on the tech industry as regard the amount of money Nigerians are generating from Nigerian tech. We haven't gone many places. People, believe me, a lot is happening. These are but a few, is it up to a handful of things happening that are of global implications. Do you know how many countries have come to sign trade with Nigeria because of the Russia-Ukraine war? For us to increase our oil output, for us to establish a robust gas sector which they can benefit from, because buying gas from Nigeria will be cheaper than buying gas from Russia. But then it will be more beneficial to us, because when we are making this money in dollars, my God, it would be highly beneficial. So friends, a lot is happening. Please make your findings, make your research, and so it can help you better invest in this country. Because you see, this country, our map, our national colors is not green and white for nothing. It is a symbol of prosperity and peace, and that will be what we are going to be known for internationally. Green for prosperity, white for peace. Till we see again, stay safe.